Okay, so my advice, my top tips around what should be included around plan is firstly, making sure that you're planning ahead. So giving enough time and space for you to make sure that you're building a whole project and looking at it as a whole project, focusing on aligning your research study with the development of your training plan, focused on who you are as a researcher and developing a plan that really highlights for the panel your research identity and how you wish to develop your research identity in the short, the mid, and the long term. So, my main advice is plan the project as a whole, but give enough time for yourself to develop it robustly. And the golden thread that you should focus from the outset throughout your project and throughout the development of your research identity is developing that robust inclusion of PPIE, so that public involvement should be there from the outset, from developing your research question, aims and objectives, to each part of your application should be there. That PPIE should be there throughout, from the outset right to the final version of your application. I think for me, what really stands out is that comprehensive project that aligns together, right from the outset of the research question to the aims and objectives, the gaps in the knowledge, the gaps in the policy. So really looking at that timely research project that fits with the emerging policy agenda across the UK, but in particular Wales. So that's the first thing. Is this research project solving an issue that needs to be addressed? And what is the success factors and what potentially will be the impact of that research on three levels? So I like to look at the impact across policy, research and practice as well. The other thing that stands out for me is what I've mentioned around the robust PPIE that feels authentic and genuine and involves the public and citizens right from the outset of the project. But it's also costed appropriately, but it's also including people as part of that project throughout each stage of that project. The other thing that stands out for me is really being clear around your research identity, who you are, what has been your trajectory, your research interest and your research development to date, and how you want to enhance that through your personal award. So what does your training plan and development plan look and feel like? And at the end of the fellowship, what will you aim to achieve and push forward into the future? And I think the trick with really robust applications is linking in all those ingredients together so that it is a plan and a project that has had enough thought and planning throughout so that all those ingredients align together in a thoughtful and reflective way. So again, my key advice is to make sure that you've got enough time and space to build an application in a thoughtful way, but also that you're accessing support from your critical friends that can then give you some guidance and also review your application before you're submitting your application. So when I'm reviewing, I'm looking for a clear research project and a clear question that is really looking to address a key issue or social problem in Wales that's having impact at policy, practice and research level. So I tend to call that the so what question. What is the so what? What is it kind of achieving? And what will be the ultimate success of your project? So that is the first thing I look at. The second thing I look at is Who is the team on this research project? How do they complement each other, and what skills are they bringing together to work together as a comprehensive team on this research project? And if the applicant is an early career researcher, then one thing I'm looking at is who is supporting the applicant to develop, and is that appropriately considered and costed within the application? So for me, that robust support means that it's really genuine, authentic, and that it's there to support the applicant in the long term. For a personal reward or an advanced fellowship award or a PhD fellowship award, I would also look at the training plan. I would focus on the training and development plan. Does that align together? Does it look at enhancing the applicant's skills in the mid and long term? And then what will be the success criteria of achieving that training plan? But also, how does that plan link in with, again, the short, mid and the long term plan of the applicant? So it's looking at the whole story, from the project, but also the person and the person's development into the future. And obviously, as I've mentioned, I think the PPIE is a golden thread. That is the foundation of the application. And I give really detailed attention to how PPIE, how citizens, how people are included in the project from the outset, and how then that is a golden thread throughout the project development. So that is a key factor that I consider as a reviewer throughout the application. I think my key message will be, if you're thinking of applying, go for it. If you're thinking of applying, make sure that you're accessing advice in advance from the right people. So access the advice from your pre-award or your research support team within your university. Access support from your critical friends and your colleagues from your university, and always access support from a robust mentor who you can build that trusting relationship with. Don't be afraid also to be a bit cheeky. So if you know that there's been a successful applicant in your kind of research area or your discipline or your field, then send an email, ask for advice, make that connection. Most people will welcome that. And successful people who have a personal award have all accessed that support. You don't do this alone in a vacuum. You access support, you get advice, you learn from others. So you do the same. Reach out to people. People are often very happy to support. And finally, coming from a social care and a social work background, please, if you're from a social care or a social work background, make that application. There is much needed drive to have more applicants from social care and social work. And if you have any questions, then please feel free to contact me. I'm always happy to answer questions, to have informal chats over Teams. It's never a problem. Go for it.